This is ride 5 for Sawny. I haven't been very consistent with him. I've been putting about a ride on him every couple weeks, so he hasn't been pushed hard by any means, and I don't plan on pushing him hard. I like to be pretty lax with my 2-year-olds and show them basics under saddle, and they don't need to know much more than that. Sawny has been pretty fun to ride. He's pretty freed up and hasn't offered to be bronky or humpy in any capacity. He's really easy to get to move out. So I step right on him and ask him to walk around in a couple circles in either direction, and then we go right to trotting. So on this guy's third ride, I asked him to lope under saddle with a human aboard for the first time. On the fourth ride, we worked a little bit more on it, and he was pretty sticky. He has a hard time picking up the right lead, so I worked on that on the last ride with him, and then I play around a little bit more with it on this ride once we build up to that point. I'm working on his ability to continue moving out and to stay between my legs a little bit. A lot of horses don't want to use the entire round pen. They kind of want to draw across the middle of the round pen right there. You could see where I picked him up. And they want to draw back towards the gate where we come in, or just make the circle smaller. Another reason for that is the sand tends to build up right next to the fence, so it's a little bit harder going, and a horse wants to do the easiest possible thing a horse can do. Here I'm asking him to move out a little bit faster. On a right circle, once again, this is his bad side. So when he goes to lope, he's going to want to pick up the left lead. Switch to the drone footage here. You can see him pick up a left lead, and I bring him right back down and ask again. And he picks up a left lead, so I bring him back to a trot and ask again. And that'll happen pretty consistently here. Now, the same situation played out on his fourth ride, and I used a technique that I learned in college to eventually pick up the right lead, and I'll show that here at the end of this video. But in the meantime, I'm just cueing him how I would cue any other horse to ask him to pick up a right lead. I'm using my left leg, I have his head tipped to the right just a touch, and I'm putting my weight on my left hip bone. Right there, I change direction and ask him to lope out, and he cruises right around confidently on a left lead. I ask him to stop and back up just a step or two right here. Backing up under saddle is still a pretty new concept for him, so I reward just a step at a time. You can see him lick and chew. Let him kind of be successful for loping on a left lead, like I asked him in this setting. And then try again for the bad side. And his bad side isn't terrible by any means, it's just the side that he is having a little bit more trouble with. He's just very green and doesn't understand, but he tries really hard. I have been extremely happy with the mind on this colt. So he picks up a left lead for a few strides, and I transition him back to a trot and ask again. So this technique that I learned from my instructor, Brett Badgett, in my horsemanship college classes consisted of a variation of loping a horse out of their tracks. So when you lope a horse out of its tracks from a standstill, or maybe even a backup, you ask the horse to lope and see how they respond, looking for them to just lope out and have some feel of you. But this variation helps out a lot with being able to pick up a lead if a horse is having trouble with it. So in this particular case, where Sawny is having trouble picking up the right lead, I would pick him up into a left circle and ask him to disengage to the right, and then immediately come out of that circle and ask him to lope. And you'll see me try it right here. I'll pick him up, ask him to be soft, which he's not being right there. So I wait till he's soft and disengaging. And then when he's disengaging, I immediately ask him to lope on a right circle again. And he picks up a left lead, so I pick him up again and try again. Bend him around and then immediately ask him to lope, and there he picked up the right lead for the first time in this session. And I keep him moving just a little bit. I want him to lope around at least a circle. And then I let him stop. He kind of stumbles there. But I ask him to stop and I praise him, because that's exactly what I was looking for. So he eventually figured it out, and it'll get easier as he gets a little more experienced. Once again, thanks for watching. That's all for this one.